Hello YouTube, Stoner Plays here, and I am right now um, sitting down, containing my anger and frustration. Um, those of you that are fans of Star Wars, Battlefront 1 and 2, these masterpieces, how are you doing? Oh, how am I doing? Oh, I'm doing shit! So, I found out a lot of information about this new game. Now, I know other YouTubers have made rant videos and whatnot, but there's a few things that they're not asking EA and DICE that I feel has to be asked and said. There's a few things that I haven't seen people mention that I will. Excuse me. Or maybe they have, but not mentioned enough. But I'm pretty sure there's a couple of things that I have definitely, I definitely, you're only going to hear either from me and very, very few sources, and I'll get into that in the video. But let me just get this out of the way right now. I love Battlefield games. Even though Battlefront games, in my opinion, are fucking light years away. Way better. Way more fun. Way more interesting. Battlefield still appealed to me. Bad Company 1, 2, and Battlefield 3 will always be my personal favorites. Even though, technically speaking, 3 was actually a downgrade compared to 2, and then Battlefield 4 came. We're not going to get into that fiasco. And now we have fucking Hardline. Way to go. Good job, EA. So you ruined Battlefield, you ruined FIFA. What the fuck is next? Oh, let's ruin Battlefront. Okay, I'm killing it right now. Let's see. What do we have here? No space battles? No. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck? What are you doing to my game? I played this game for you. Please stop. I'm making the game better. You see, since there's no space battles, no campaign, and no galactic conquest, and only 4 planets, and 20v20, the game is balanced. Well, as you can see, a lot of people are upset about this. Fucking bitch! What the fuck did I tell you? Mommy! Mom! Yeah, really upset, and they just don't seem to be too... Okay, I'm fucking pissed. Alright? Elijah, stop getting your ass whooped. Tone it down or something. Anyways, look. This is ridiculous, okay? Ridiculous. You can't do this. This is my childhood, okay? I grew up with these games. I had days where I was super depressed, and I played Star Wars Battlefront, instantly happy. This game brought me joy, happiness, and love as a childhood. This was Star Wars, okay? I got to live out the prequels. I got to live out the original trilogy. For those of you that are prequel fans, it had the Clone Wars for you prequel fans out there, and those like me who love the original trilogy even more. And they had that, and they had them both in both games. They had both of these things, and you take out the prequel? I don't even like the prequel movies, and I know that was wrong. That was fucking wrong. And you're selling us not even half of a game. A third of what was in the first and second? Are you shitting me? You think this is okay, EA? You think this is fine? That you're selling us a game so low in content by launch? 4 planets, everybody. Not making this up. Okay, that is ridiculous. My God. Yes, but you have to understand that we're just trying to balance the game. We want the game to release. Anyways, we want the game to release around the Force Awakens movie around that time. Yes. You see, we're not being money hungry. We're You are. It doesn't make any sense. Delay your game then. Why don't you just listen? Why did you take out space battles? Because we want to focus on planetary combat. ETC. What? That's just Battlefield combat. No, you haven't seen the game yet, so you don't know. That's because you guys... Hey, that's a good point. That leads me to my next point, you bastard. You see... Thank you. Yeah. You see, they have not shown gameplay. Why? Why do they keep hiding... I had to spit out the last remains of my humanity, by the way. Anyways, why do they keep hiding their game? Why? Why are you hiding your fucking game, EA DICE? Why are you being so sneaky? Why are you hiding that game? Just show us gameplay. May 4th, Star Wars Day. Star Wars Celebration, April 18th. You still didn't show it. Last year, when you first finally did an E3 showing of it, that was your time. Boom, you said spring. Okay, so we waited until spring and we still don't get to see it until basically summer. You guys are fucking sneaky. I mean, us out here. Those of you that are fans already sold. This doesn't pertain to you. You might as well go ahead and leave the dislike like I know you will and be like, oh, he's one of these people and blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and follow in their footsteps. Believe them. Get tricked by EA for a 10th billionth time. And then when you finally get the game and play it and realize, wow, this is kind of boring, then, yeah. Well, actually, to be honest, it might not even be boring to people. This game might be fun for people who didn't play Battlefront 1 and 2. But those of us who actually did play the first and second, and they're expecting more, expecting a fucking campaign, AT&Ts to not be on fucking rails. Those of you that don't understand what that means, by the way, that means that those cool giant AT-ATs from Hoth are now on rails, so they move on their own, which wasn't not only not in the original trilogy, but apparently they said we have to balance it, which makes no sense when Pandemic Studios balanced this perfectly by making them extremely slow. And they said 20v20, but are there bots? Well, they won't answer this question. Why won't you answer this fucking question? Answer us. Talk to your fans and be specific. Stop. Oh my god. EA is playing with some serious fire right now, okay? I know I just skipped the subject, but listen, I'm sorry, this has to be said. They are playing with some fire. This series has a lot of fans. You understand? This has a lot of people, a lot of love, and a lot of sweat and tears went into making this series. Okay, Battlefront 1 was not easy to make. This is Pandemic Studios' first time ever making a Star Wars game, period. And it was also one of their earlier video games in their, since their company had started. And, I mean, it was amazing. Battlefront 1 was fucking fantastic. I still stand by saying that Battlefront 1 and 2 are the greatest game, some of the greatest games ever made, if not the greatest. Then they made 2, and we thought, oh, only in 2 years? They're not going to top that game. Not only did they give us space battles and way more maps, but they upgraded everything that was slightly flawed in the first game, fixed a whole lot of glitches, even though they added some new ones, and the game was huge. You're not going to get another game with that much content at launch, everyone. You just are not going to get another game like that, ever, okay? It is sad to say. It is really disappointing, but yeah, this is not happening. We are going to spend $60 for a game that barely has any content, and those of you that are saying, oh, that's what DLC is for, are you willing to pay money for something that should have been there at launch? Fine, but let me just explain this to you. They have been discussing a lot of fans' concerns, prequel-era content, and, space combat. And they actually have the nerve to say this fucking shit. DICE had the nerve to say this. And this is what some of the developers were saying. All you gotta do is look it up. Just saying, those of you that don't believe it, just look it up. And I know that's the number one argument. Oh, looking it up. Well, just do it. I mean, it's right there. They said it. Tweets. They tweeted these things. And they said it in interviews, and they've got articles on this. They've confirmed this shit. So, before I say it, you can go ahead and say it. Oh, look it up, that argument. But if you're not going to look it up, then making the fact that you guys who comment that, making your particular argument completely pointless. Anyways, with that being said, they have actually been discussing fucking space battles and prequel-era content. They were like, maybe there could be a prequel-era themed DLC. What? And they said, well, space battles definitely won't be there at launch, but who knows about the future and all that, hashtag DLC. No, listen. The fuck, what? Listen to me. You see, we have to make money. This game has a huge budget. The fucking game. DICE has a whole lot of money. You understand, audience? So if DICE has all this money, they have like as big as budget available to them.
You're hurting my fish.
If their budget is that big, how in the hell?
My fish, I can't feel it.
How in the sweet mother of all that is holy can you tell me that you have to actually develop a game that barely has any content just so you can resell it as DLC without actually making people oh, yeah, shut the fuck up. Guys, that's what they're doing. You feel me? That is brilliant. But it's bullshit. Guys, you remember how DICE actually said that bullshit? Well, if those of you that don't know, yes, DICE has come out and say that this is completely tweeted. So those of you that really just be like, oh, you're saying bad things about EA and DICE, simply unacceptable. Ah! Well, they said that they are not stripping any content for DLC. But what if they just developed the game? Yes, shut the fuck up. And they developed the game. They developed the game as having barely any content. So then when they release it, DLC is actually adding things. Now, that's bullshit, but yeah, it's just, is that another way of doing the same exact thing? The last of my humanity. Oh, every bit of it. Just burped right out. Yeah, that is the same thing, isn't it?
Yes, maybe, but... Yes, maybe, but can you please let me out?
Yeah. Oh, God, thank you. The rebellion of all the Battlefront fans are upset. But let me calm you all down by saying the graphics are 1080p on all consoles. Amazing. Anyways, so and that the game has some of the best graphics ever made in gaming history. Yeah, great, because we all know that graphics are what make a great game. Anyways, so then Battle is and Space Battles will be coming later on in DLC. Why? Why do you have to put these things off for DLC? Why don't you? Oh, here's a great idea, DICE. Delay your game. You know, if things are not living up to expectations, why don't they just delay the game? Well, that is a good question, and I'll have to answer it after I walk out the door and never see you again. Anyways, it just, it mind boggles me just how greedy companies in the gaming industry have gotten these days. You saw the cluster failure of 2014 with Titanfall, Watch Dogs, Destiny, and then and all these other fucking overhyped pieces of trash like The Crew and shit. Then 2015 comes, and the first big budget game that we get, that we're ready for, Evolve, ends up being a repetitive piece of shit. And then Order 1886, where we should have known, I knew, at least I did, that was going to be a disappointment. And people sat there and dick wrote it, and then, oops, the game is an interactive movie. Oops. Here's some ideas. You know how that is 20v20? Well, DICE, why don't you just let us have custom player counts? And EA, I don't get it. Why don't you just let DICE, the developers, delay the game so they can give us what we want? And I don't get it, guys. You actually had resources to make campaign from what you've told us, but you decided not to because basically what they were really trying to say was, it'd be a waste of time since most people are buying it for the multiplayer, but they tried to say it in a professional way. But no, a lot of people loved the campaign. Battlefront 2's campaign was amazing. Why didn't you just make an interesting campaign? LucasArts is right there. You could have got the Star Wars lore and made a damn good story. Why didn't you do that? This is the gaming industry, everybody. It's just taking shit, annualizing it, or dumbing it all down to sell it later on as fucking DLC. You want the just favorite Jedi that you loved in the prequels? Well, fuck you in the ass, DLC. You want a game that was already one of the most ambitious games ever made, sequeled? Well, fuck you, DLC. You want your game series back that you waited 10 years for, and now you barely get a third of the content that it already had? Fuck you, DLC! This was one of the first of many rants. I'm out. Stoner Plays.